Benny Johnson, thank you so much for joining us here today on The War Room.
Jack, of course. It's a privilege and an honor to be on The War Room for the first time. Also, I have to lead in by saying this. I am not Benny Thompson. Benny Thompson is a Democrat member of Congress running the J6 committee. Some people tweeted at me recently, hey, Stephen Bannon is coming after Benny Johnson. I'm sorry, that was a bit of a mess up with the mic when Steve Bannon was talking outside the courtroom. I am not the same man. He's like a 70-year-old black member of Congress from the Carolinas, I believe, and that's not me. Just want to clear that up.
Okay, but that being said, what would it be like if Benny Johnson actually was running the January 6th committee? What would that actually, walk us through that?
So every single day you would have Adam Kinzinger crying. Adam Kinzinger crying memes were the hottest thing a couple of months ago. He hasn't cried since. That's a real problem for the meme economy. We really got to get more Kinzinger crying memes. His salty, salty tears, they're delicious. They taste like ice cream. They fuel us. And we would like to have more tears from Adam Kinzinger. If I were running the committee, that would be the sole goal of the committee. Also the prosecution of the Antifa members who were there on January 6th.
100%. Now, Benny, we were talking during the break a little bit. We've got a situation now, right? Serious situation. The President of the United States tells us he has cancer. The next day they announce he has COVID. He is off the world stage. Everything's spinning out of control. Inflation spinning out of control. Gas prices spinning out of control. A war in East Europe. And then in East Asia, the CCP is looking at Taiwan. They're eyeing them up at the East China Sea, the Taiwan Strait. They want to come in. What does it mean by the fact that we've got this guy who doesn't even seem to be able to make it through a single week on the job?
Well, I was looking up an allegory here, and I was very interested in what you said yesterday, Jack, about Kamala's moment. And I think the best metaphor here is Tom Brady's start in the NFL. Yes. And I'm not comparing Kamala Harris to Tom Brady, but Drew Bledsoe, the #1 draft pick, Tom Brady was like the number 900th draft pick. He was never going to get a shot. But Drew Bledsoe went down with a near career-ending injury, giving Tom Brady his shot at quarterbacking the Patriots. And that's what led to Tom Brady's start. And I think Team Kamala is seeing this moment as their opportunity to sneak into the starting quarterback position and start making moves. I think you're 100% correct. And of course, I think it does not transmit any type of strength. Joe Biden is not a transmitter of strength. Everybody can see that he has training wheels on his bicycle, that he is currently unable to carry himself up the stairs. It is clearly and plainly obvious. We had recent revelations from Tucker Carlson that Joe Biden takes pills to have senility on the campaign trail. I mean, these are scary moments. And of course, 40 vacations, Jack, 40, count them, 40 vacations since being in office. And what that means is a trip to Delaware where there are no visitor logs, where he's inside of a walled compound. We've gone to his multi-million-dollar mansion on the beach in Delaware. Strange how all the purveyors of climate change always have multi-million-dollar homes right on the beach. Barack Obama, John Kerry, all of them. You'd think they'd be up in the mountains if they actually believed this stuff. But nonetheless, Joe Biden has this compound that's walled, that's protected. It's inside of a walled community. Nobody knows what goes on there. All we see is him doddering around on his little bicycle every once in a while, his mongoose, and they take the training wheels off and you see what happens.
Well, and what does it say, right? What does it say that we have a situation like this? Kamala Harris now, she can come up. I think we all know this is why Putin decided to make his move in Ukraine. By the way, they're also talking about expanding their military operation, the special military operation in Ukraine. But if you're Kamala Harris, you're sitting there in this situation. I think what she's going to do, and this is my contention, I've said this a couple times now, I said it on Human Events Daily just now when we recorded the morning show. She's going to use this, and Benny, whether or not we do see an actual designation, right, of her as acting president. And we could see this, by the way. For example, if Biden goes to Walter Reed, if he takes a turn for the worse, if he heads out and he has to undergo any type of procedure, anything like this, you might see a designation of the presidential powers fall to Kamala Harris. It's already happened before, and so I've said, embrace the suck. Kamala Harris, United States of America, will be your first female president of the United States. It is going to happen. But I think, here's my contention, and I'll throw it to you to see what you think. she's going to try to make a move anyway. She's going to try to make her mark because we all know that she wants to run in 24. We're also seeing that Hillary Clinton wants to run, Gavin Newsom wants to run, right? But Kamala Harris is going to try to make some milestone moment that she can then refer back to and say, when President Biden fell ill, I stepped up and I was able to. And then here's the thing, I'm not quite sure yet what that accomplishment might be. So let me throw it to you. What do you think, pick your brain a little bit, what do you think are some of the things that Kamala might try to get into while essentially the mouse is gone, or excuse me, the cat is gone, the mice will play. She's effectively now got a free hand in the White House.
Yeah, that's a great question. I don't know. The creation of the first COVID ice cream flavor, that's what the meme economy is saying that Kamala's working on right now. We don't know. We know that Gavin Newsom went to the White House recently and had to meet with Kamala Harris and placate Jill Biden to say, according to reports, that Kamala wasn't going to primary Joe Biden in 2024. So who knows what she can be up to? I got to tell you, if you're Jill Biden right now and you're sitting in Washington, D.C., and you're up there and you hear Joe Biden doddering around inside of the executive mansion there in the East Wing of the White House, and you hear him and he's in his mustard-stained bathrobe and he's fumbling with the remote and he's trying to figure out how to turn on Matlock or the Andy Griffith Show, and the Werther's Originals get stuck in his denture one more time, and you're Jill Biden, you're sitting there and you're like, wow, how are we going to recover from this? And you just hear the echo of Kamala Harris's cackle, right? Like that's what you hear faintly coming down the hall, like the cackle of Kamala Harris echoing through the halls of the White House. It's got to be a terrible time. And also Jill Biden, she's not a real doctor, but she's a doctor enough to know that Donald Trump went to Walter Reed with this same illness. Donald Trump had a, pneumonia spring up when he got COVID. He went to Walter Reed. Donald Trump is in a much better physical position and a much better mental position, a much better moral position, a much better position of strength than Joe Biden has ever been in his presidency. And it knocks people on their butts. I got COVID. This is a rough one, man. It really sucks to get COVID depending on, where you're at. And I consider myself a pretty healthy dude. I know you're a pretty healthy dude, Jack, but it really can't drop you down. And so what's going to happen here? Is Joe Biden going to get the worst of it? I think it's bad times right now in the East Wing. And I think Jill Biden is sitting there, counting her tacos.
When I got COVID, right, and I've said this publicly a few times, it felt to me like no virus, no sickness that I've ever had in my entire life. And it felt mechanical. It felt like there was some kind of mechanical element to it, the way it affects you, the way it directly affects multiple systems. There's different stages of it. It comes in waves. It comes, it goes, you get better, you get worse. I've never had anything in my life, and I've talked to other people about this, Benny. And let me ask, was that your experience as well? Did it feel like it was something almost artificial when you had it?
I've never been sick like that before. I'm not a sickly person. I don't get sick. We power through. I married a medical professional. She's a top tier nurse. And so we get ourselves through without any big pharma help, right? And so we really do, in the Johnson household, sunlight, activity, walking outside. These are the treatments that God gave us. He also gave us natural immunity. These are the treatments that were given to us from heaven. And these are how you should treat the vast majority of regular everyday symptoms and illnesses. And it's how we practice health in our family. And again, my wife, a trained medical professional with over 15 years of top tier nursing experience. And anyone who knows the medical profession knows that the nurses are the ones who do the most amount of work. And so my wife and I both got COVID. And Jack, it was severe. I've never felt sick like that. You're right. It felt mechanical. It felt manufactured. It felt like nothing I've ever had. And I got it over Christmas. It was like 2 years ago. So I got original COVID, like the OG COVID, the bat soup straight from Wuhan, direct COVID, real, not some watered down stuff. Okay. Not like the cheap knockoff imitation stuff they sell in the streets of New York, but the real COVID, and that stuff was severe, and so it's nothing to joke around with. And if Joe Biden's got it, man, the dude's in exactly the kind of shape that you don't want to be in if you're getting COVID, right?
No, that's 100% right. And we've seen people, this is where they were putting people on ventilators. We've seen the pneumonia. We've seen so much of this. But Benny, I have to also mention, because you sent me a video earlier this week, you're putting out a new investigative piece that you've done here on the streets of Tampa, if I remember correctly, a specific area where you were going around and conducting. We've seen these polls lately talking about how Hispanics are moving, the numbers are shifting. By the way, inflation is driving a lot of that. You know why? Because if you look at Mexico, you look at Central America, you look at South America, it was inflation that destroyed so many of these countries. And so people who have moved here from those areas, they understand the damage, the severe damage that inflation can do to your country. But you went in and you were conducting a little bit of an experiment in the community. Tell us a little bit about that.
That's right. That's right. Instead of referring to the second largest Latino population in the world, I was shocked to find that out. It was actually the CEO of Goya that pointed that out to me, that the second largest Latino population on planet Earth is in America. It's not in South America. It's in America via country and borders. And so America has a massive and growing Latino population. And we can talk about the reasons that is and some of the illegal reasons that Biden is pushing that is. But it is what it is. And so the left likes to take this gigantic portion of the American public and call them two things that are quite offensive. One is Latinx, or Latinx. I'm not quite sure how to say it. You could mix it all up. This isn't actually like this isn't like a gamer handle or a profile on Call of Duty. It's actually a thing they refer to Latin Americans as because it's a mark against gendered language, I think, right? So the A and the O, Spanish is a gendered language, so you have feminine and you have masculine words, and so they decide that because feminine and masculine can no longer exist, they have to call them Latinx.
Hey, Benny, we are coming up on our 1 minute here. If I could just get your final thought on that and let people know where to follow you.
Yep. Real fast. So I went to the streets of Tampa and I asked Latino people if they are Latinxes, and they didn't like that. The follow-up will probably be asking them if they are tacos, simply quoting Joe Biden, and we'll see what happens. And I hope we can come back on the War Room when we have that video out, and we'll be happy to do a premiere of that video on the War Room. I just want to say thank you. I've been a huge fan of the War Room for a long time. Huge shout-outs to this audience. I love this audience. You can follow me at Benny Johnson on all platforms and at Benny on Truth Social. Huge shout-out to Carly Bonet, who's my favorite War Room fan and actually introduced me to the War Room. Love this audience. God bless all of you. Thank you for watching. Our channel is here to meme the libs until they cry and then to meme them crying. Their tears taste like ice cream. We ridicule the establishment, and we do so because of you. Your support keeps us going. So if you liked what you saw, please click the thumbs up. Please punch, subscribe, and ring the bell to let you know when we have a new video. Don't you want us to let you know when we're live? Please check out more of our videos here and sign up for our mailing list in case something happens and the plug gets pulled. We want to be able to keep in touch with you. My name is Benny Johnson, and thank you for watching. Based Patriots, stay free.